Hello everyone and welcome back to another Bricklington mini city update. Today we are going to be working on fixing a problem with this building right here. As you can see, the mini jazz club is currently fully blocking the view of the Lego store and I don't like that. So today we're going to be fixing this problem. From this camera angle here, when you look at the city front on, you cannot see the Lego store building at all. So I've been thinking about moving some of these buildings around. I think the best thing to do is to move the location of the jazz club. I like the jazz club being close to Tudor Corner because they've got similar colourings in these parts here. So what if the jazz club moved next to Tudor Corner? And that way you can see the Lego store. Or potentially we move both of these away from the front and have the Lego store come closer. But I think I quite like this idea of having the two modular buildings next to each other. I've pushed those two modular buildings into place now, so they are not going to be moving anywhere. Now there's actually a second thing I want to change, and that's the height of the Lego store and the road. It's currently the same height as this front part, and I think that's actually a little bit too low. So I'm thinking we should raise both this building and the road up by just one brick to make it a little bit taller and easier to see. Now don't worry, I will be adding more bricks underneath. I'm just adding a few less at the moment while we're playing around with different heights. It is a very subtle change. Both the road and the Lego store at the back are now raised up by one brick, which will make them both easier to see when you're looking at the city front on. Another more subtle thing I like about having the road and the Lego store raised by one brick at the back is that it actually follows the natural contour of the land. Often the ground slopes towards the ocean or a beach and gradually gets taller as you head further back. So in this case, it does make sense to have the next layer at the back higher than the front facade here. But now I'm left with a few more questions. What are we going to do about this 4-stud gap? And what do we put in this square? It can't be another building because then there's no point in us having just moved the jazz club. It's got to be something lower to the ground but still makes sense for this space. I don't want it to be a car park because that's quite boring. And this is a prime location at the very front of our city. So I came up with a beach volleyball court. This is very simple. It's just an 8x8 tan plate with a palm tree, some steps leading down to it, and of course the volleyball net, which I've raised up by 2 studs. I like this idea because to me it makes sense to have a sand-related sports activity close to a beach. And since we don't really have enough space on the beach itself, this is the next best thing. I like that this provides some entertainment for people visiting Tudor Corner. It also brings life into the city, since it's a sport and like a fun activity for our residents to do. Now, of course, we have to address this height difference. I think steps are the only way to go. I've created a basic step design, which is very similar to the one we have in the front here. Just, it doesn't have rounded edges because I'm not sure where the steps will end, but when we have an end for them, I will round the edges of those too. And a little final touch, a street lamp. Now I'd like to tidy up the end of this path here now that we know where it goes. So I think we'll put a little bit of a path continuing down onto the grassy area, just like that. And I think continuing with our slightly rounded theme, I believe this bit here should also be rounded, just like that. We've also got these 2 bits of exposed coloured plate shining through, so I'll just go ahead and cover that up. So we've made quite a few significant changes. So I'll show you the before photo and an after photo. With these changes, I think we've made a step in the right direction. I'm also pleased that we were able to join up the two spaces between the road and the front, and I think the steps are a good solution. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and if you've got any thoughts about the changes or the direction that the city is headed in, please let me know down in the comments. But that's all for now, so I'll see you guys all in the next video.